Tomatoes are a wonderful crop to grow in the garden. They come in so many different colours and sizes, and the flavour is just amazing compared to those you can buy in the shops. However, it can be really frustrating if your prized tomatoes begin to not look how you would wish. Tomatoes are generally hungry plants. This means that they need plenty of water and nutrition, and if they don't get this, it can lead to what are known as physiological problems. This means the issue has been caused by the growing conditions rather than by an insect or by a disease. One common problem you may see with your tomatoes is as they're growing and developing, they may start to develop some splits or cracks down the skin. Don't worry about it, they're still perfectly good to eat. This has just been caused by fluctuating availability of water as they are growing and developing. You can't fix it on the fruits that have developed it, but you can try and stop it developing on other fruits by having an even watering regime. Another thing you can do to try and stop the splitting occurring on your fruits is to try and control the temperature fluctuations around your plants, particularly if they're growing in a greenhouse where you can use things like shading or ventilation, because if you're controlling the more even temperature around your plants, that can also help to manage the availability of water. Another disorder you may observe is what's known as cat facing. This is where the fruits develop deep cracks, quite often with rough brown skin around the outside, and they can become a bit deformed. Most common on older or heirloom varieties. This issue is caused by fluctuating temperatures, where you have warmer days and colder nights. You can try and control this issue by having your tomatoes inside early in the growing season, where they will be protected from some of the colder nights, and it generally isn't so much of a problem as the season carries on. A further problem your tomatoes can develop is blossom end rot. This is caused by calcium deficiency in the fruits, and the fruits themselves will develop a dark patch on the base which can become flattened and look really quite unsightly. Now, if your plants do develop blossom end rot, it doesn't necessarily mean that you've got a lack of calcium in your soil, just that your plants have been unable to access the calcium that is there, and this is generally due to a fluctuating water regime or just a general lack of moisture. Because if there isn't enough moisture in the soil, then the plants can't take up the calcium. You really need to have a nice even watering regime for your plants. This is harder in containers than it is in the soil, so you may want to think about installing a drip irrigation system or something along those lines, or you just need to make sure you are checking your plants pretty much daily to ensure they have the moisture that they need. Now, as a nutrient deficiency, you can try and address blossom end rot by applying some feed to your plants. Here at Wisley, we don't feed any of our plants growing in the soil. We find that our mulch provides enough nutrition for them, but we will use a balanced feed on any tomatoes and crops growing in pots to ensure that that calcium is there for them to take up. The final physiological problem I would like to look at is what is known as greenback. This is where the tomatoes develop a hard green area on the top of the fruit, which doesn't ripen along with the rest of the fruit. Don't worry about it too much. When you harvest your fruit, you can just cut that bit off and eat the rest of the fruit. It is generally caused by excess light, high temperatures, and a lack of nutrition reaching the plants. So to try and prevent it happening, especially if you're growing in a glass house like this, you might want to make use of some shading or some ventilation in the glass house to prevent the temperatures getting too high, and make sure that you are watering regularly. Once you reach the end of the season and you've finished growing your tomatoes, if you've been growing them in pots like this one, you could reuse the soil for growing something else in, but by the end of that season, your tomato will have been in there for several months, so the compost will be quite nutrient depleted. So if you do grow something else, you need to keep a close eye on feeding it. Otherwise, you could spread the soil just as a mulch on a bed or border somewhere to help improve the soil structure and retain moisture. For tomatoes which you've been growing outside, quite often you'll be advised to do crop rotation, so not grow the tomatoes in the same place year on year. Now, I have sometimes grown tomatoes in the same place year on year where the tomatoes have been healthy and have had no problems, but if your tomatoes have had problems, and especially if they have developed blight, then it can be advisable to rotate your tomatoes and grow them in new patches in the following year. So if you've had a tricky year with your tomatoes, please don't give up and do try again. Hopefully you'll get a wonderful crop and be enjoying great flavour throughout the summer.